I knew it would be much sooner than later that I would be met with all that happened that day at the restaurant. The text messages as well as the calls continued to torment me, so I simply decided to silence my phone, relieving me of all the annoyances of talking to someone long distance. If somebody really needed to know what was going on or if there was something to be concerned about, then they would have come to me and asked face to face, rather than hide behind electronic devices. Placing the phone on my desk, I began to get dressed and ready to confront those that may very well have seen me on TV to note my early departure for a quick vacation, as I would like to call it. The weather seemed ironically decent with few clouds creeping around the bright blue sky. The wind calmly breezed as I closed my house entrance and quickly dialed a series of numbers to secure the lock on the door. The trip was inevitably long as it required me to drive a good distance from my usual surrounding. I was not really sure why the other directors of my film chose such a spot, but if this was the best they could do, then so be it. I briefly stopped by a gas station on my way there to fill up the car, as well buy a cup of coffee. It still took another 20 minutes before I reached my destination in a distant town outside my own. I quietly parked my car on an open space and strolled onto where I saw a large number of fellow co-workers casually conversing between one another. The table was set outside the restaurant with full view of just how beautiful the day was turning out to be. With any luck, this small detail may have brought a calmer environment to talk things over with the guys. My well-paced approach brought everyone's eyes to me and caused silence from the once loudmouth workers sitting. Slowly I walked further across the vast amount of people that occupied the table. There must have been at least 30 employees all staring as I budged myself to the furthest empty seat at the front next to the two executive directors, along with the second executive producer close by. Quiet snickers and whispers filled the tense air as I finally managed to grab a hold of my chair. I knew in this environment, my social status or ingenuity to avoid problems were going to be of little help. I tried to ignore the annoying remarks being made by the lower-seated employees and listened to just what the three in front of me were saying. "Marshall, look, Mr. George announced with a grim tone. "We know how much this project means to you, and trust me, I of all people would really love for this to continue," he added as he looked out at the directors for reassurance. Both nodded enthusiastically along with a simple yes, definitely, escaping their tongues. "Yeah, I wanted to talk to you about the film, too, George. Is something wrong?" I asked curiously. A feeling of uncertainty was coming over me, and I knew what George was just about to announce was the source of it. He let out a slow sigh and added, "I'm sorry, Marshall, we're going to have to take you out of the project." He finished with a pat to my shoulder. It was as if someone had hit me in the face with a sledgehammer. Thinking and knowing that something is coming always feels much different than actually experiencing it. Did he really just say what came out of his mouth? What are you talking about?" I reply blankly. "It's just right now." George could feel my blood boiling as he continued on with his sentence. His lack of eye contact during this whole ordeal gave clear indication he sensed it. "We believe it may be best for you to figure out just everything that's been happening in your life, is all. So, you're kicking me out of my film because you think I can't handle it?" I exclaimed angrily. It's not that. Just what, with all that's been on the news and whatnot, Mr. George said quietly, trailing off his words. You could almost say I was getting used to this feeling of sledgehammers violently punching me in the face. I felt a fury grow within me from his comment. What's been on the news, George? What could be on there that would give you the assumption that I'm unable to freaking work?" I yelled at the startled senior before me.